live from the Cajun capital of the world.
I'm the average Lafayette, Louisiana kid.
See, I'm back on my...
Hey, fellas. Hey, Brady Review said, congratulations. Say what's up, y'all. Yeah!
People that have courage don't have no extra gene. There's no difference in you. The difference is, are you going to sit down when it's time to stand up?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Rage and Review on what is sure to be a very interesting night. Interesting afternoon, interesting whatever. That was certainly not an interesting game, but we'll get into that in a second. I'll first turn it over to you, Josh, because you look honestly the most pissed off right now, and I don't blame you. We just lost to Eastern Michigan. We have not beaten an FBS team this season, and we are 1-3 going into conference. Now, not where you want to be, brother.
Why are you squibbing it? Why are you squibbing the kick?
Because I'm trying to get the space open. That's why.
No. Why are you squib kicking?
Oh, that question. I thought you were
when it's a tie football game, they had 2 timeouts and it was 44 seconds. What are you squib kicking for?
And you know what the best part about that is? On the post game, Des was asked, last drive, that was tough. What happened? He goes, I don't know. They had great field position to start.
It's a legitimate question. What is the benefit of the squib kick in that moment? And we can talk about the game, and I know we will. But I just want somebody in the question, somebody in the comments, somebody in the space. I want somebody that knows a lick of football. What's that? I just want somebody that knows a lick of football to explain to me what is the benefit of the squib kick in that moment. That's all. That's all I'm asking. And then we can go from there. But if somebody can present some sort of a reason why we squib kicked the ball, they had 2 timeouts in 44 seconds and they needed a field goal. They didn't need a touchdown. They needed a field goal to win the football game. And then there's a whole other thing. Like, we lost the game in regulation. The referees handed Louisiana an opportunity to score. And look, give them all the credit in the world. They walked down the field and they scored the touchdown. And I'm thrilled about that, I guess. But the most basic question on my mind is, from a coaching standpoint, why are you squibbing the kick 44 seconds, 2 timeouts?
Jerry, you have any answer to that? I don't.
No, just like I don't have any answer to the defensive coaching scheme. I have any answers to the play calling today. I don't have any answers to some of the careless penalties we have. I don't have an answer for anything, guys. I'm kind of not in shock. It's a shame to say that I'm not surprised what happened today. I tell you this, though, as far as the overall picture, you just opened up a $65 million stadium, and this is the worst possible scenario that you could have going into next week. I just think this is probably the most dejected I've felt as a Cajuns fan, probably since pre-HUD. We just lost to a team. I mean, we basically just lost to the ULM of the MAC, a school that has no resources. Their fan base is basically, it's almost non-existent. It's covered up by Michigan right down the road, and they beat us. I mean, honestly, without the refs' help, it's an even worse loss than what we just experienced.
Dog, they lost to Long Island freaking University.
Agree.
Long Island University, bro.
Look, this is almost rock bottom. This is not good. And no, I don't know. I can't answer that question, Nick. I don't know what the game plan was going into this weekend because everything looked so out of whack. Outside of the first drive or the first touchdown drive, everything else looked out of whack today. And it shouldn't have been that way.
Terry, if you can hear us, go ahead and unmute yourself and tell us what you saw today. I'm not going to play your music because
before Terry goes, real quick, I just got to say, y'all can talk about the players all y'all want. I see everybody in here too small on defense. What are the players doing? I see that in the comments. There are about 5 coaching decisions from about 2 minutes in regulation to go that this coaching staff should be held to account for. And I don't want to see Des get pissed in the post game and start talking about the refs and start talking about players or whatever. You don't squib kick that, number one. Number two, what happened to go for 2 on the road? What happened to go for 2 inside of a minute to win the game? If you're at home, you kick the field goal and you extend the game. You go for 2 to win the game on the offense, especially when you have this bad of an offense. And listen, I know that we put some points up, and it was better from an execution standpoint. It's still nowhere near good. This is the worst defense in FBS football that we did this against today. The quarterback play was absolutely atrocious. I'm a big Daniel Beal fan. He's not ready yet. He made some horrible decisions down there, but the coaching staff did not put him in a position to make plays. It was third and long, and we're throwing. We ran a naked with 1 wide receiver to the strong side. What in the hell are you doing from a scheme standpoint? I just want to say, as bad as we played on the field from a player standpoint, the coaches were as bad today, if not worse. And we can get into that as much as y'all want. Go ahead, Terry.
Terry, can you hear us? RC, are you there, buddy? I might have to hang up again because this Spaces is just not cooperating tonight.
Let me add something to Josh, to your point about the coaching decisions. Look, outside of the pick 6 and that generous...
Can't hear you.
We hear you fine. But outside of the pick 6 and that generous call that the ref gave us on that 4th down in the 4th quarter, you know this offense only scored 17 points today. Y'all are aware of that, right?
Well, 24. 24. We had 31 points.
No. Well, okay. But no. Outside, what I'm saying is if the ref doesn't give us that call at the end of the game, and if we don't get the pick 6, that was 17 points. Because I'll be honest with you, I thought that roughing the passer call was a gift. I don't think that was worthy of a roughing the passer call. That's just my opinion. So outside of that, if we don't get that call and we don't get the pick 6, we score 17 points today.
Well, the roughing was horrible and it wasn't a rough, but you still got to give him credit for driving down the field and scoring the touchdown. I'm going to give him credit for that. What I'm more concerned about is when we're running blitz packages, especially with a single high safety, and we're playing 10 yards off the damn wide receivers. Do you not think they're going to get the ball out quick if you're blitzing? Why are we playing soft and we're going to blitz? That's so easy. Anybody can tell. That's not like rocket science football. Not just like coaches understand that. We talked about Jordan Lawson all preseason. Jordan Lawson is one of the easiest people to scheme. All you got to do is stretch him out. Cole made this comment in the group text. All you got to do is stretch him out. He can't play the freaking run. He has no help in the middle. I don't know how Fitzgerald West is even still getting reps at this point. We are so lost on defense. Let's not even talk about the fact that we can't tackle. We cannot tackle. One of the worst tackling teams I've ever seen. Cannot tackle. So we got so many issues from a coaching standpoint. We're lost on defense. 10 penalties for 85 more yards this year in this game. 10 penalties for 85 yards, and all of them were crucial. We still can't get set pre-snap. We still are grabbing people because we're getting beat on the ends. We can't cover any damn body. I don't even know where to start. I'm probably just rambling. I want our fans to get in here because this is what we do this for. But there's so many things that you could harp on today. We just lost to one of the worst 5 teams in college football. What does that put us? It puts us down there, doesn't it?
Well, on top of that, what makes it worse is the fact that, I see a little bit of improvement maybe in the passing game. I mean, that was a big critical thing, but everything else outside of the rushing attack, in my opinion, went down. I didn't think I thought our offensive line played average. Our defensively, I just don't know what happened. I don't know if we're still traumatized from last week in Missouri, but the second hand effort from Eastern Michigan today on numerous occasions, whether it was running the football or the passing game. First of all, why are you giving Kim, their quarterback, all in the time in the world to throw when you're softening your coverage? The guy had over 300 yards passing at Kentucky last week, and on top of that, you have a secondary that usually when we put pressure, they're very effective, but that team throws the football pretty well. If you look, even if they're 0-3, they have a good passing attack, and you play to their strengths with the fact that your offense was not moving the football. So I'm putting this on coaching. I thought the coaching, the lack of preparation this week was downright atrocious, and it showed on the field. No excuse. The squib kick, I'm with you, man. When he did it, I'm like, why would you do that knowing well that this offense started to click? You have an offense that all they have to do is march the ball down 35 yards or 30 yards to get in field goal range. And actually our kickoff coverage outside of that one return that we gave up to like about the 40 wasn't bad. Why not just kick it deep? All season long last year, we used to complain, and I think even Coach Daz called it out about how we like kicking the ball deep. We like kicking the ball deep. And then this time, when you really needed to kick it deep and push their field position back, you did the opposite, and now you put them in field goal range to kick the winning field goal. Sometimes I just throw my hands up. I really don't have an answer for it, guys.
We're going to get on players plenty, but we come on here every week and we defend Dez, and we say, oh, man, we love Dez. Oh, we love Dez, and Dez this and Dez that, and we make excuses for him. There is no excuse for what we just watched. There isn't one. Defensively, too. I mean, I know Salgado was trying to do things. He tried to disguise some coverages. I know we moved from zone to man, and it kind of worked at times. But when you have no defensive line putting pressure on the quarterback, and when you do, you just let his release valve run for 15 yards every time he touched the football, it felt like. I don't understand what we're doing in the linebacker room. I have no idea what these guys are looking at. On one of the long passes late, the tight end catch that gave them, I forget how many, 25, 30 yards when they were driving deep to get their last touchdown, or field goal, excuse me. We got Jaden Duggar in a zone scheme watching everybody else but the guy who's behind him. Like, this is not just sitting down in a soft zone for the tight end. He was running free on a cross. We have no idea what we're doing in coverage from a linebacker standpoint. We don't put enough pressure on the quarterback absolutely from the ends at all. We got no push in the middle. Defensive line is one of our easily, you can nitpick that. But coaching as a whole, special teams, offensively, the play calling was a joke. You're averaging 7 yards a carry, and you want to throw the football 33 freaking times? How many times we got to come on here and say the strength of the team is the run game? You know, Bill Davis had at one point he was averaging 11 yards a carry, and we're still trying to throw the ball deep, and we're dropping the football still. I mean, look, you can go a million ways what went wrong here. It's embarrassing everywhere.
Terry, can you hear us? Can you unmute yourself, bud? Yeah, we're having trouble with spaces. We'll have to shut it down. 866-454-RAGE if you want to get in today, guys. Spaces is just not cooperating.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? All right, yeah, Space is just not cooperating. We'll keep trying there, but you can get in on us on 866-454-RAGE. I am look, I'm still, I don't know, man. I'm still perplexed on everything that happened today. I mean, you come out, honestly, the only good play that we had today was the play where we you know, we had it planned out. The first drive of the game, it was planned. And so it was great. And then after that, couldn't figure out how to do anything. I don't know, boys. I'm still trying to figure this out because Spaces is absolutely terrible, but I'm out of words. I'm out of excuses. We're all Des guys. We all have been Des guys. We all have championed the cause, have said this is the way to go. This is what we're going to do. And that's what we get. That's the effort that we get. I just don't understand.
Nick, what did he say on the post game? I didn't hear it. Was there anything significant or just the typical, well, we got to bounce back and get ready for next week? Conference starts. All our goals are ahead of us. He said 100%. That?
That's what was said.
Our goals are ahead of us. He really said that. We're 0-0 in conference.
Going into conference. Yep.
He don't care what y'all think. He doesn't care what I think. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. He just signed a 5-year extension. He's good. He's fine. He comes in at a decent discount. He's not. Look, I hope he's as mad today after what he just watched that he was about a damn question about effort last week. I hope he's that angry at what he sees on tape and what he watched on the field. And I hope that he looks at his plan and he is self-reflective and he says, I let my football team down today. I, from an offensive standpoint, offensive coach standpoint, did not have my team prepared to win this game against the worst defense in the country. This is the worst defense in the country. We did nothing. We did nothing offensively outside of a couple of busted runs. Zylan Perry is a problem anytime he steps on the field. And that scripted offensive drive first thing in the game. Throwing the ball to the tight end, by the way, 3 times on the first drive. Amazing. Amazing what happens when you exploit the entire field. It is truly embarrassing what we watched today because EMU was really bad. And don't come up here and tell me, well, they put out a great effort today. It was their homecoming. They are terrible. They tried to hand you the football game, and you still couldn't get it done.
I'd like to know where the scheme of throwing to the tight end happened after the first drive. The first drive, when we moved the ball pretty effectively, 2 or 3 of those big plays were to the tight end. Where was that the rest of the game? I didn't see it. It was little short yardage here and there, but I noticed we really didn't exploit the field with the tight end that much later on.
There's no explanation, just like there's no explanation for 2nd and 18 draw. Your 3rd and 12, let's run a halfback dive. That'll get them. We'll trick them. It's ridiculous at this point. Do you not trust the quarterback? Okay, maybe I can have a conversation about that. Do you not trust the offensive line? Maybe we can talk about that. But you're throwing Hail Marys to, like, they ran trips to the left and threw a Hail Mary to a single double covered wide receiver. None of it actually makes sense. It's not even about execution at this point. What they're trying to get done literally doesn't make sense. And we talked about this last week. It doesn't take a guru to figure it out.
All right, we're trying to get some calls in here, man. All of my, like, literally every single piece of technology is not working. Unfortunately, I have to keep it on you guys because we're trying to figure this out. I want to hear from our fans right now, but right now, nothing is working for me.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
To get it on my side.
Yeah, if you could try to get the spaces on your side, because I literally can do nothing right now.
Go ahead, Nick, and I'll
go ahead.
I just want to know, what about, am I missing something in believing that did Lunch actually play every 3 drives? Am I dreaming? Because I don't know if Lunch played every 3 drives.
He was seen every 3 drives.
But once again, they're running these very simplistic plays with him and not letting him utilize his talent. They're still running, the typical hand the ball off. They let him throw a pass once. He threw 1 pass. Maybe it's time to utilize him a little bit more and kind of spread the field out and make the defense a second guess a little bit. Every time we put him in, everybody knows what's coming. When you put Lunch in, if I'm a defensive coach, all I got to do is say, all right, put 8 men in the box. They're running the football. Where's the creativity with Lunch? I haven't seen it. Have y'all seen it? I don't know. I don't know what's the point.
This is a great point here, Jerry. And Terry, we're trying to get our spaces up and running again because apparently I can do nothing today. Reigning SBC Coach of the Year. Let's talk about preseason West Division champion pick from literally everyone. Like, there was no one else picking another team in the West. Maybe somebody picked Texas State. So either every single other person who knows something about football looked at the talent on this team and said, they're going to be damn good this season, or everybody was wrong. And it's hard for me to believe that we don't have the talent to compete with Eastern freaking Michigan in the, what is this, Dez's 5th year as head coach? 4th year as head coach. 4 years, and you're struggling to compete with a Rice and an Eastern Michigan. We have standards now, guys. We have standards now. When you win, when you have a Napier here, when you get to the CFP top 25 ending 2 separate seasons, you have expectations now. And it's like, oh, we forgot about that. Well, everything's still in front of us. F that, man. Well, we still got conference. Screw that. I don't care about we still got conference, because I'll tell you what, Right now, we ain't being a single person in
Time out.
conference.
Please tell me that's not what was said in the post game.
Dude, that's what you're gonna hear all freaking week.
So you see
that's what
that's
you're gonna hear all freaking week, Jerry.
Then you know what? We're back to the basketball BS. We're back to the basketball propaganda.
Hey,
That's
Nick,
exactly what it is.
I got Cole on the line. You got something to say? Go ahead, Cole.
Hey, boys. Sorry I couldn't be with y'all tonight. I know that the show is popping because we talked about it all week. If we somehow found a way to lose this game, not found a way to win, found a way to lose this game, we knew that they would have some irate fans. So, you know what? I was always told growing up, if you didn't have nothing good to say, keep it to yourself. Well, guess what? Mama ain't here to stop me tonight, so I'm going to say what I got to say. All week long, in all the shows that we did, on the Wednesday show, on the tailgating show that we talked about, we talked about how abysmal Eastern Michigan's rushing defense was. And we saw it today. Every time we decided to actually commit to running the football, we ran for 7 yards a clip. 7 yards a clip. And guess what? If you'd have done that all game long, not only would you have ran it down their throat and exhausted them in the fourth quarter, you would have controlled the freaking clock. If you control the freaking clock, their offense does not score 34 points and beat you on their homecoming. They are 0-3. They are a bottom 5 team in Division I, and I hate to say this, boys. Listen, y'all know me. The people that are listening to this that hate us know me. They know that I love the Cajuns. I have season tickets across the board. I've loved this school since I was a baby. The problem is nobody likes talking worse about this school than I do. We are one of the worst football teams in Division I right now. I don't think we have a prayer to beat ULM this year. I don't think we have a prayer next week against Marshall. Because, listen, all week long, all we heard was, you know what, I'm going to run this offense because I see the bigger picture. We have to do things a certain way or we're not going to win games down the road. Does that mean that you let Daniel Bill throw the ball 33 times for 222 yards in a loss? You know what I would rather? I would rather you have ran the ball 50 times or 60 times, just like Missouri did, and beat your ass down the field. You beat them to a freaking oblivion. You take your win. You come back home for conference, and then you can regroup. This was not the time to gamble on your offensive play calling, which, by the way, was awful. Awful. You have the worst passing offense in college football, and you just let your freshman quarterback throw it 33 times. Now, listen, Daniel Bill had a good game. 222 yards passing, that's a bright spot. But he did throw an ugly pick towards the end of the game. Luckily, it did not come back to bite us. The point that I'm making is being made. If you allow us to run the football 40 to 50 times, you save the clock, you keep the ball in your hands, not Eastern Michigan's hands. But anyway, I'm just talking about offense right there. I'm not even getting into the defense yet. Defense. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That is one of the worst offenses you're going to see all year long. Probably you got McNeese, them, and Marshall next week, and probably ULM too. The problem is that I just rattled off 4 teams that you should have beat, and guess what? You only beat one of them. One of them. This schedule was set up for you to go 9-3 at worst this year, and we'll be lucky if we can win 5, maybe. And I'm being optimistic with that.
What 5? We're staring, in my opinion, right now. I think we're 3-9 at best. I said 4-8 last week, and this was one of my wins. So you can X this game off. 3-9, maybe if we're lucky. 3-9.
But anyway, y'all know I'm not really much of a defensive guy. I'm just saying I saw a lot of the same from last week, especially from the effort. I want Daz to explain that away to me now. Explain that away to me now, big boy. You wanted to double down and tell the fans how it was abysmal that the fans are calling out players for giving lack of effort. Cat, it was worse this week than it was last week at times. It was worse this week than it was last week.
I hope he gets as mad. I said I hope he gets as mad about the question. I hope he gets as mad about this performance and this preparation that he did about the damn question of effort because it didn't improve.
Bingo. And listen, at least last week you had an excuse, right? You were playing an SEC school. And in the second half, you were down so bad that, even if you gave effort, you probably weren't going to come back. Here's the problem. You're playing one of the worst teams in college football, and your kids are not giving effort. And by the way, I'm going to piggyback on something that you said earlier in this week, Josh. Trey Tomlinson is way too small to be playing in the middle of the field. And I like Trey. I think Trey can be really good for this team.
Not a jack.
Lined up as basically, hold on. You got him lined up as basically an outside linebacker right now going against tight ends and big-ass running back. What are we doing? This is not Catholic New Iberia. Get your shit together or you will get out of here. And that's all I got to say, boys. Y'all have a blessed weekend. Hopefully the Saints can save my weekend, but I'm not banking on that either. Katie Anderson sure as hell blew a 17-point lead last night. Florida State got a big win today, so, I'm riding with that. But, man, Coach Q, if you hear me, you can listen to me. We're looking forward to basketball, brother.
Help!
I'm going to be staying. Hold on. I'm going to be staying tuned into y'all. Y'all have a great show. I'm glad that y'all gave me a little time to get my points across. Bottom line, you had a golden opportunity to run the ball down their throat, control the clock, control the tempo, control the game, and you decided you wanted to gamble on your play calling and allow your quarterback to get comfortable in the passing game. Here's the problem. He did that in a loss. So it's a moot point, and it does not matter. All right, boys. Love y'all. See y'all later.
All right, Cole, be good. And look, I want to just highlight the part where he said control the clock. The time of possession was split between the two teams. And you have so going into the game, we knew what they were going to try to do, right? They're going to try to spread us out and throw the football. So they were going to try to spread us out and throw the football, and we were a run-heavy offense. Now, he talks about being balanced, but we're a run-heavy offense. If you split time of possession with a passing attack and you're a running attack, you lost the time of possession as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, and look, Cole made a comment about Daniel Beal having a good game. Daniel Beal, from a number standpoint, had an okay game. The eye test still, man, in the second half, after they made their adjustments, he's just not ready. The 2 picks down deep, you cannot make that throw. Maybe he and Caden were not on the same page. Maybe Caden was supposed to turn around there, but it looked like a panic throw from Beal, and Caden looked like he was running an out. If y'all go back and rewatch it, you can't panic and throw that football right there. You cannot do that at that point in the game, and that's why I say he's just not ready for this level at this point. I'm not saying he can't be later. At this time, he's not. And you can't throw that ball. You cannot have that turnover in that moment of the football game.
I'm not saying he's not. Hello?
Hey, let's talk to Ryan, because I got Ryan here. Ryan, turn it down in the background because I can hear everything. There we go. Oh, he hung up on me. Okay. I'll call you too, Terry, but I agree with you. We got to hear from these guys no matter how it is. So, Terry, I'm going to call you in a second. Ryan hung up on me. Turn your radio down. Or
hey, y'all are calling. It's not like Spaces. When you call, you got to turn the radio down. You got to turn everything off.
There he
is. We pick everything up.
Ryan, hold on. Let me call him again because he didn't do that right. Give me 1 second. We're going to get this one way or another. We got to talk to these people.
Probably popping. So
we got to talk to these people. What's up, Ryan? Ryan, bro. That ain't working. Okay. I guess you can't hear me. I don't know. All right.
I'll try to get Spaces back up.
Dude, I don't know what's going on. Like, literally, this is like our entire freaking season. A freaking dumpster fire. This is the football gods looking down on us and laughing. You think you're going to do something?
Ryan Landry.
You're not doing anything. Oh, there's Ryan. Ryan, can you hear me, brother? Ryan. Ryan, can you hear me? All right, hold on. Ryan, can you now hear me? Can you hear me now, Ryan? No, nothing. Not a thing. Nope. Yeah, we can't. No, sorry, Josh. We literally have no technology right now. This is how our night's going.
I literally can put up my phone up against the mic if y'all want, and maybe
that's stupid. We gotta figure this out before we go forward, because the whole point of this was to get people. Yeah.
Ryan Landry.
Ryan still be trying to call him, man. I mean, you think it'd be as easy as it worked for you, Josh?
Well, I just had him call. Let's look at stats, because really it punctuates everything that we've talked about. You can look at the stats and, it looks like an even game. And when you play an even game against one of the worst FBS teams in America, that's a loss. It doesn't really matter what the score is. Look at how even the game was.
I'm looking, and the funny part about that, and I'm pulling the stats up as we're talking. The funny part about the stats is is that at the end of the game, I was listening to the broadcast. And by the way, I did enjoy the broadcast from the EMU side because those guys on the stream were actually decent. They're actually pretty good. But I was listening to our broadcast at the end of the game, and you had our guy on radio saying, well, this is a pretty evenly matched game in stats. Yeah. Except for the fact that we had two interceptions. It was evenly matched. And I don't know if we were alluding to that was a good thing or a bad thing. Considering who our opponent was, that was definitely not a good thing. But looking at the statistics, Daniel was 20 for 33, 222 passing yards, averaging 6.7 yards a pass and 2 interceptions. Here's the question I have for you boys. We were obviously super successful in running the ball. So why in obvious situations where you're driving it down their throats, you're driving it down the field, you're ramming it down their throats, it's working. You stop running the ball. That I don't understand. I mean, even the guy on the call for EMU was saying, why are they not running the ball? Oh, and by the way, David also, DAF mentions, why can't we stop the penalties? That's another thing. How many times were we penalized tonight? Let's go down and look at it. I think it should be on this screen.
10 for 85. I saw
10 for 85. Unbelievable.
If anybody listens to Bobby after the Saints game, he always says, if you have 10 penalties in a football game, that's good enough for a touchdown. You may as well look at it as a touchdown. What's embarrassing is that it continues to happen. We're in game 4, and we still can't get set. We can't get set on the offense.
That's so unbelievable to me, man.
So, Nick, let me give this a whirl. I got CJ Broussard and Coach Lou, who's been on the show before. Coach Lou, give it a shot. If it doesn't work, I might have to cut you, but just give it a shot and see what we can do. All you got to do is unmute and go ahead and start talking.
Hey, Josh, you'll need to turn it up because we can't hear you or him.
Well, he didn't say anything. I was just waiting.
Yeah, well, we can't hear you either.
Stats, Nick.
Yeah, so looking at our rushing attack, total rushing yards, 214 yards of rushing and 3 touchdowns. Xylem led the way with 110 yards of rushing, followed by Bill, and then Steven Blanco with 15 yards of rushing on the day. Sampson ended up with 3 catches for 87 yards. Rob Williams, who was very involved in today's game, and I want to talk about that a little bit because that was interesting. It was good to see someone who is reliable in the offensive side of things. But I like the way that we did use Rob Williams. If there is anything to come away from this game, it was Robert Williams had a great game. I think in his role, Brock Chappell was the workhorse for the tight end room. Caden had a couple of catches and dropped one toward the end of the game, but that was just an encapsulation of what this team has done. But again, 214 yards of rushing, 227 yards of passing. You think that should win a football game. Missed a kick, by the way. So I think the thing we're finding out about our kicking game is we're going to hit him from 60, but we're not going to hit him from inside 30.
Inconsistent, I think, would be a nice way to put it. Let's give it a shot again one more time. Terry, I saw you just unmuted. Give it a shot. We'll see what we can do. If not, Terry, Ryan, give it a shot. Nope. All right. Oh, there goes Terry. Here we go.
Yeah, we can't hear him, Josh. Or you.
He's good. Go ahead, T. We got you. What you got?
Yeah, Josh, we're not hearing anything.
And Josh, your volume's low too, buddy.
For the people that can't hear me, sir.
Good. All good now.
We're good.
I got you now, T.
All right. Y'all can hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So I gotta mute because sounds coming in weird. This is year 4, man. Like this is year 4, and forgive me if there's some delay if I don't hear you guys talking back. how can you be this poor going into a season that should be very exciting? That should be not saying I didn't think we were, like I said, I didn't think that we were going to go to the CFP. I didn't think that we were going to compete for a national championship. This defense, which I thought was going to be a solid portion of the team, right? I mean, we were sitting at, like, I've seen the graph before. I'll share it around. We were the top 6 or 7 G5 team in like wins in the CFP era. That's clearly going to go down because I don't see us winning another game this year. And I mean, Cooper Fordham, man, I love the guy, and I'm an O-line guy. You can't account 10 penalties. He accounted for 4 of them. Like, your starting center cannot account for 4 penalties. An illegal cut in the red zone, that was crazy. They teach you that in camp. That's been an illegal move, for a while. How do you do an illegal cut in the red zone? Snap infractions? How do snap infractions work?
But
there's nobody at the damn game.
Can you hear me?
How many people were at the game? Like 5,000 people? Like, how do you have a snap infraction?
Hey, Terry, can you hear me?
I don't get it.
Terry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear there's a delay. There's a delay in what.
All right, so here's my question to you, bud. How are we? I mean, take out the Dez era. How did we get back here? Is my question. How did we get back to where we were so happy that we got past so many years ago, and now we're back to being in the conversation for the bottom 10 of ESPN? Like, how did we get there? Is my question. And I know you don't know the answer to that, but literally, that is a question I'm thinking as a fan. It's like, I paid all this money to buy season tickets at UL this year because I've been told, well, you don't buy tickets, so I did, and now this is a product that I get to watch, and I'm going to get being told next year, by the way, to pay more.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, sorry for the delay. How did we get here, bro? That's a good question. One, look, I like all y'all, man. I love Dez, and I would love for Dez to be our coach long term because he loves this team. He loves the city. He wants to represent it. I saw somebody say this a while back, that when Dez was getting interviewed, that he's a totally different type of person. Like, when he was a player compared to when he was a coach, when he was a player, he was way more intense. He had a certain swag about him. And as a coach, that swag just isn't there. That confidence isn't there. And he doesn't put confidence in coach. I don't know. I don't know if we go down the whole Marlon rabbit hole. I know we touched on it, with basketball. They touched on it. Maybe that's just what this administration is okay. They're just okay with putting vets in the seats, in the box seats, and they're okay with rubbing elbows with the big wigs, all that. And maybe that's all the administration cares about. And this stands like Josh said, this leaves out an extension. We have this team to what, 2029, 2030? We're okay, or when I say we, I think like we're okay with just being average. They're okay with average. I don't know if we can go into the whole rabbit hole of if there was even a coaching search after the game, if there was a consideration of a coaching search going on. Now it's looking like I don't even know if it was. And on top of that, how does recruiting even go down? Like, our recruiting seems to be okay. We're always 3 in the conference in recruiting, but I don't see the talent. I don't see the all-out talent. Guys are getting there with rushing 3. They're in Daniel's face 3, man. That's crazy. They could drop 8 rush 3 all game. We are not getting that ball fast. It's a lot, man. You lose an All-American tight end and Terrence Carter. You lose 4 out of your 5 best pass catchers. And I think we just overshot and put a lot of the whole Walker Howard thing and Shelton Sampson thing. And I think the coaching staff just rested on their laurels. And I think, and the most frustrating part is we're going to not go to a bowl game this year. We're going to probably go 6-6 next year. And then a year extension is going to be added on. Oh, we got the bowl game. Turn it around. So that's me. Last thing I'll say. And I'll ask, you don't have to answer right now. If Napier gets let go at Florida, are you intrigued? That's the last thing I'll say.
Yes.
Hello?
Was that really the question? Was Napier coming back after Florida? I just want to make sure I heard that right. And I know there's a delay, so I'll give you guys a second.
Well, he basically said if he's let go, would you be interested? Is what he said.
No.
Yeah, are you intrigued? Yeah. Yeah.
Hello? Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, RC, what's up?
Pretty sure that was Coach Lou.
Yeah, I can't.
Josh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I don't know what's going on with the space. Everybody's kind of bouncing in and bouncing out, but I don't know where I'm at in line. So
You take it for now.
Okay.
yeah, so
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
I don't know. People still talking.
Yeah, well, can you guys hear me?
Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, you got me, Josh.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, what's up, guys? Y'all good? Yeah. First time caller, long time listener. Hadn't called in this year yet because kind of wanted to I don't know, just try to give our guys a chance, and here we are. So I'm trying to figure out where we go from here. I don't know. Do y'all know? I don't know.
He sounds like a coach. Yeah.
I'm not making fun of anybody. I just don't Let me tell you, no, really. Let me tell you something, Josh. I don't know who can hear me right now. I really don't. Okay, everybody can hear me. Listen, this can I curse? Are we raising review after dark right now?
Yes.
Okay. This shit right here is so fucking disgusting to watch that I had stuff coming out the front and back ends. I could shit through a fucking screen door watching the type of shit that we had to fucking watch for the past 4 fucking weeks. So where do we go from here?
I don't know how to follow that.
No, well, you know who don't know how to follow it either? Fucking Michael Desormeaux! We fucking suck. We lost to the worst team in Division fucking 1 FBS football. They lost to Long fucking Island University. Who the fuck is Long Island University?
Hey, Ryan, I don't know if you can hear me. I know I'm on a delay. Can you hear me?
They lost to Billy Napier's team by 55. Go fucking figure.
Hey, can you hear Nick?
I know, I can't hear Nick. I wish I could.
Nick, what you got for him?
I mean, I agree.
I can't hear him.
I mean,
sorry.
Here's the thing, Josh. Yeah, here's the thing, Josh. The problem I have is we have no answers. We only have one truly winning season under the Des era. And we don't have time with NIL and transfer portal era to wait around for them to figure it out. We don't have time anymore. That's why you see programs risking an entire turnover of a roster because they know you don't have time to wait. But we don't have money to pay.
Basically, Nick Nick thinks that we're falling behind because of NIL and portal and everything, and he has no answers, and this is inexplicable.
That is not what I said, Josh.
Well, I'm trying to get it to go faster. Yeah, we're all out of answers. I think we're all out of answers.
Well, then you got a CEO of the program, right? Who's supposed to take over that role and supposed to make sure that we're ahead of the game whenever it comes to NIL funds and boosters and whatever the fuck you want to say. Our recruiting apparently has been dog shit since Billy left. We can't hit a fucking tight end to save the fucking day. And whenever we finally do hit him, he fucking drops the ball. Shelton Sampson finally decides to show up whenever we got 10 seconds left in the fucking game. And then we score a touchdown and we squib kick the fucking ball to the 40 fucking yard line. What are we doing?
Even when Sampson caught that deep ball, he dogged the route. I mean,
Oh, he didn't even put his hands out. He dropped it in the bucket. He was dogging that shit and it landed right on his dick. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Jesus Christ.
all right, let me move on. I got other people waiting, but I appreciate your thoughts, especially the screen door one. That was good.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to do it again.
Well,
Hey, Josh, your mic is super low. Can't hear you.
working on it.
Hello.
Go ahead, Coach Lou. Let's see what you got.
Hey, thank you. I guess I'll kind of talk from a coaching perspective. So I was able to watch the game in its entirety. And I did have a couple of back and forth with some fans last week because my thing is I'm always going to be realistic. And that's just kind of the coaching me. This is my 6th year going into coaching. I'm at a junior college right now. I've been at 2 Division I schools in the NAIA program. So my first thing is there is not an NIL issue. The biggest issue that I saw was the execution issue. And obviously that was the issue last week as well. Obviously against a greater opponent. Talent gap is large like that, and there's a huge deficit of the talent gap, then you might be able to sprinkle in some excuses and things like that, which that's kind of what I was saying last week. But as far as this week, the things I was disappointed in, and those are my guys. I've been a Cajun fan since I was little. Grandmother bring me to my game, so if anybody hears this, obviously I'll get some slack and flack. But starting with the O line, that the performance by the O line that was disappointing to start off. And then of course, you're coming from a program that has highly touted offensive line play, and you're going into a season, which is what I was speaking about last week, where you have some new pieces there. You have a lot of injuries there up front. So I think that is the reason why some of that O-line play is the way it is. You have a second-year center who doesn't have a lot of snaps, but obviously the penalties that he had that occurred on him, those were huge. So start right there with the O-line play. Secondly, the defensive line, there was no pass rush whatsoever. Pass rush at all. To me, that was one of the bigger issues as well with EMU scoring. And of course, hats off to them, but they're not some top-notch program. Call a spade. They are, more so closer towards that bottom tier, just as a program in general. And I think somebody said something last week about the last time these two programs played, and it was 51-28 or 50 something to 20, something like that. So that was alarming to me that there was no pass rush. That quarterback Noah Kim did not feel pressure for all 4 quarters. There were some drives on 2nd and long and 3rd and long where he had all day back there. And the talent gap for this game should have been in the Cajuns' favor. Those guys are not more talented, but from an execution standpoint, that was not there at all. Next, this is kind of difficult for me to say, and I do hate to say this. I was there with those guys and saw the quarterback competition and things. But there's a quarterback issue as well. That there definitely is a quarterback issue. Of course, there's a quarterback there now that does not have a lot of experience. So obviously he's going to have some growing pains. But you guys all know that in the past that there have been some experienced quarterbacks. So obviously you don't have the luxury of having a 6-year senior or having a redshirt junior back there. But though from what I saw, that is an issue. That's going to continue more than likely being an issue all season if that guy remains the starter. And obviously he's going to get better game by game. because he doesn't have the live reps that some of those other guys had in the past. But there's a quarterback and an O-line issue. Those skill guys were fine. I know somebody said it earlier about running the ball 50 times. That can't happen. That's not realistic. Those guys are going to be able to load the box, and there would be no sort of positive momentum or positive offense going at all. So that cannot happen. And I think the O-line run blocking wise, they did a hell of a job as always. Zylan Perry and Bill, those guys did. And Blanco as well. Those guys performed as they always do. From a receiver standpoint, it's kind of hard to judge and engage the receiver play when not a whole lot of positive momentum is going on. There were a lot of play action passes, some slice slide plays to the tight end. That those were great, but those are kind of your easier passes and hey, let's get the quarterback going passes. Those obviously can't happen all game. So that's probably going to be an issue, man. Like I said, I hate to say it. I love all those guys that's in the room, but that quarterback play and the O-line play, obviously, that has to first and foremost that has to improve. For wins to happen. And going into conference play, I have to call it spade a spade. Is not looking good. It's not. The answer in that quarterback room, it may not be here right now. So it may not be. So you may be looking at those 5 and 6 wins. And somebody said about the 6 wins and being happy with the extension. That's an okay season. All I know is that I know for sure Coach Desmo and those guys are going to have those guys ready to play, for the next matchup. But definitely an execution problem, for sure. As far as the guy saying, where do you go from here? These guys just have to get ready to play next week. That's really it. There's nothing more that can be said. But I don't want people to think like it's an NIL issue. There's not an NIL issue. That is an excuse. There's no NIL issue. There's loads of talent on that roster. There's a lot of talented guys there. The guys have to just be able to get the right pieces on the field, in order for those guys to play. There's no lack of talent. There's no lack of none of that. We have some of the better players from the Acadiana area committing, and that speaks volumes to the recruiting staff. So that's definitely not the issue. Like I said, the O-line and the quarterback play, that definitely has to get fixed. And there may not be changes made to that, because like I said, the kid is young. He has to go through his lumps and bruises. And for you guys, some of the guys that are as fans, you guys expect something else. You might expect that 8, 9, 10 wins. But for this kid, this is his first year starting, so he's going to have to go through that. Of course, I think the standard is still the standard. Obviously, the standard did not get lowered. I know I hear people saying that that's not really how that goes. Standard did just get lowered. Guys just have to, figure out how to be able to execute. So, but don't think there's some magical quarterback that's going to swoop in or something like that, because that's not really the case. That's not really the case. So that's pretty much it from me, guys. Thank y'all for having me.
Hey, Coach Lou, we appreciate the input, man, and you're a knowledgeable fan, and I definitely keep in mind what you think and your thoughts are important here. I would just like to say, Walker committed in the summer. So what was the plan before Walker got here? Was it going to be a redshirt freshman was going to take the helm? I understand that we've talked about this, and we said it in the space today. There is a quarterback issue. He's not ready. But it's not just the quarterback. He's not getting much help. And the other thing is that this team should not be 1-3 at this point. You can't lose to Rice. I don't know if y'all have watched Rice since we played them. They're not good. They made Charlotte look like Auburn. All right? And I know they ended up winning the game, but it shouldn't have been close. The skill positions, I know you said the skill positions have been fine. I would very much disagree with that. I think the skill positions have been one of the weakest, especially out on the islands, one of the weakest on the entire football team. But Daniel Beal's got to grow up, and he's got to grow up quickly. If you can't get it right against this defense, which is statistically the worst in college football, we highlighted that in detail in our midweek show and on the tailgate show. If you can't get right against this defense, it's going to be struggle in conference. And that's really what we're looking toward. And I know everybody's going to say, well, the season hasn't started. It's Sunbelt.
No.
I don't want to hear that.
We got to stop with that, man.
If you can't execute and be fluid and be moving the football against EMU.
Hey, Josh, you're gonna have to restart because we can't hear anything you're saying. Our listeners. So just if you want to exit and just come right back in, we can try that. I want to go back to what Coach Lou was saying earlier. We're not saying NIL is an issue. We're not saying NIL is an issue. We're saying what we're saying from our point of view is we don't have time to wait to figure this out. Like if we have 4 out of 5 seasons where they're either 500 or less. We don't have 10 years to wait or however, what is he? Or are we guaranteed through 27, 28? I'm not saying fire Des. I'm just saying you're going to have to make a decision before 28 because we cannot afford as a G6 conference school to wait to see how things go until the contract expires to figure this out, because then we're not only are we behind our peers, we're behind our peers. And we're seeing that now. We don't have time, Jerry, to sit around and try to figure this out. And again, I want to preface this by saying I'm not saying fire anybody today, but I'm saying you don't get a leash of 4 or 5 years anymore in college football. But if you do give that leash, then be prepared for mediocrity or worse, because that's what we're seeing right now. 4th year, we've only had 1 winning season. That's not good enough for me, Jerry, as a G6 team who's trying to be relevant, who was relevant, who is in the conversation of, oh, we're in the CFP top 25. And now we can't even beat Eastern Michigan and Rice and don't have 1 FBS win through 4 freaking games. I'm sorry. That's unacceptable to me as an investor. If I'm an investor and I buy stocks and it falls and disappoints and doesn't hit earnings, I'm a sell. And that's what I don't think people in power in this university understand. We're not just people that are talking out of our ass just to scream and holler because we enjoy doing this. It's because we give money and we want to see a return in investment. The only return in investment for us is having a good game day experience and winning football. And when you can't do both of those things, then why am I investing in the product? So instead of pointing fingers at us and saying you're a bad fan because you are negative, how about you do better?
Well, let me also add to what Coach Lou said about it's not NIL. 2 years ago at the end of the 23 season, we did a 2-hour episode whenever Zio and Chris left to go to Houston. And we talked about exactly that. How do you handle NIL? John Aiken came on, talked about at the time Crew Along and what it'll take to maintain NIL here and bring good athletes. That was 2 years ago. Well, then what happened last year? We won 10 games. We won 10 games. We hosted the conference championship and we went to a bowl game. Today, you just lost to possibly the bottom 5 teams in the FBS. That has nothing to do with NIL. It's one thing if you go last week to Missouri and you lose the way you did because you don't have the NIL budget that Missouri has. I mean, that is pretty obvious. And even then last week, I still didn't think we put enough effort into the game. I'll be real with you. I'd rather lose by 40 if we put a lot of effort, but I didn't see any effort last week. But today, I don't want to hear those 3 letters uttered out of anybody's mouth about NIL. You just played one of the worst teams. You think Eastern Michigan has NIL? This great NIL budget that we don't know about?
But that's just it, Jerry. It's not about NIL. It's about the NIL and transfer portal, and you cannot wait around to try to figure it out. That's what I'm saying. That's the point that a lot of us are saying. We're not saying, well, we don't have. Now, the school is. That's what we're hearing. We just don't have NIL. Well, how much NIL are you going to have if we shit the bed this year? Because I tell you, I ain't thrilled about giving my money away for something that I'm watching the product on the field right now. Again, think of it from an investor standpoint. If my stock drops, I'm going to sell before it drops lower. And that's where a lot of people are. Oh, and by the way, what happens when the performance drops? The price doesn't go up, but they're still charging the price. They want to charge these prices and have these results. Something's got to give at some point, guys. And losing to Eastern Michigan, we're going to say, oh, well, we have the rest of the season ahead of us. Bullshit. We lost to Eastern Michigan and Rice. We got dominated by a middle-of-the-pack SEC team, and we looked halfway decent in the 4th quarter against McNeese State. This is a regression, and I love Coach Lou. I get Coach Lou. I get what he's saying from a coaching standpoint. But a reality fan standpoint of people who know what they're watching on TV and see for their eyes, We ain't look, something ain't jiving. If somebody say, well, we're great, we're working hard in practice and all this stuff, and then you see what you saw today. Look, the guys worked a lot harder today. I didn't see guys quit. I'll tell you that. But the talent we were promised and the results we are getting do not match. And to me, that's unacceptable. At this point, 4 years into a head coach being there, it's unacceptable. And it falls on his shoulders. And I'm not screaming at Dez, but in the end, Dez makes the decisions that reflect on the field. Something ain't right.
Well, I was told a college football coach once told me that when you come into the fold, whether you're a head coach or even a top assistant coach, your sweet spot to make a splash for your program is 4 years. 4 years is a sweet spot to make a splash, or 5 if you're lucky. And by then, you have to have a certain level of success by the time you reach that 4th or 5th year, to where you either A, you're ready to take the next step and do what Billy did and go to an SEC school like Florida, or B, stick around but maintain that level of success that you were able to maintain even at a mid-major level. This is year 4. This is the year where that peak of success is supposed to be here. And with the circumstances of NIL and with the circumstances of the culture that you've built in those 4 years, we should be 3-1 right now. Beating Rice and beating Eastern Michigan should have been done without even thinking twice about it. You just built a $65 million stadium. You've raised the ticket prices for premium seating and regular seating on this side of the new stadium. You're asking fans to invest more and give more money to the program, whether it's through tailgating, whether it's through seat donations and the Champions Fund and everything else. And yet that's what you put on the field. How do you expect people to reciprocate when that's what you put on the field? That's the concerning part about that I'm seeing in this. That's the most concerning thing with me is, and circumstantially, this is the worst case scenario based on building that new stadium. Worst case scenario. You just built a $65 million stadium and that's what you're putting on the field. And I'm not trying to throw players under the bus. I'm not trying to throw the coaches under the bus. But what I am saying is fans go to a game to pay for a product, and the product that they're paying for is not producing. Period. They're not producing. So we're in year 4 of a regime that's supposed to be not necessarily peaking, but growing, and we've regressed. We've regressed in the circumstance of a new stadium, increased pricing, and increased donations, increased support, and yet what's the result? What's the return? A loss to Eastern Michigan, a loss to Rice. You're staring right now at a 3-9 season. That's what's concerning to me. And you just built this $65 million stadium. How are you going to pay for that? Number one way to pay for that is ticket sales. You're not selling tickets doing that. Showing that on the field. Not happening. That shiny new toy is about to get pretty rusty pretty quickly if that's what we keep showing on the field. So they better figure it out. And all this stuff about, oh, well, everything's still ahead of us. Everything's still ahead of us. These 4 games, guys, do count. And from what I was told and from what I recollect, if I recall, the goal of this football program, I thought, was to make the CFP. That's what I was told. We got to go. Our goal is to make the CFP. So now we went from, well, let's be contenders for the CFP, which we were last year, by the way, to now, well, so what if we're 1-3 and lost to the, 2 of the bottom 10 teams in FBS? Our goals are still ahead of us. Now we're going to try to win conference. No. If your goal is the CFP, every single week should be a game that is if it's your last game. 1-0, right, Nick? That's your approach every week, 1-0. Now we're moving the goalpost to say all our goals are ahead of us. No, I don't want to hear that. That is what I've been complaining about basketball for the last 6 or 7 years.
But here's the thing too, Jerry, is that we hear through the grapevine, oh, well, if you ain't with us, you're not with us. So just disassociate with those folks. So we're like, people are literally saying, oh, well, if you're not super excited about how things are going, just, then don't be a fan.
Well, then I'll tell them you're lying to yourself and you're lying to me. And that's even worse because now you're lying. And let me tell you something about Rage and Review. We don't lie. We tell the truth. Sometimes we tell the truth too harshly. We know that.
We tell our truth. Now,
but
it's
we
not
don't
always right, but we don't lie.
But we don't lie. We don't lie. You don't lie to your customers. We don't lie. We tell the truth. And the truth is right now, this product is not on par with what we paid for a $65 million stadium. Losing to Rice and losing to Eastern Michigan, who are two residential bottom 10 teams in FBS on a regular basis, we should not be 0-2 against them. Not with the expectation we had coming into the season. I'm sorry.
And that brings me back to that, and nobody can answer this question. Phil Steele said it. The talking heads on ESPN said it. The coaches said it. The league said it.
Phil had us winning the West. Phil Steele, Mr. College Football Guru, had us winning the West.
And now we haven't won an FBS game going into. And look, I think Terry said it or somebody else said it. This schedule was so favorable for us to absolutely blow it out the water at the beginning of the season. And this is what we get. But we're not supposed to be upset. We're supposed to just say, well, try harder next time. That's what happened in basketball. You saw what happened there, right?
We tried harder in basketball. Oh, they played really hard when we lost to Lamar by 29 points. But you know what ended up happening? You had 200 people in the stands. And people said, you know what? I'm not wasting my time, my money, and not wasting any more of energy on this. If that's the approach you want to take, then fine. But you're going to have 2,000 or 3,000 people in a brand new 30,000 seat stadium.
So I will say our voicemail is working. That's the one thing working tonight. So if you want to leave a voicemail right now, you can. 866-454-RAGE. Hit option 2. Leave a voicemail. It will pop up for me, and I will play that live on the show. One of the questions we got, is it true when he became the head coach, team could live off campus wherever they wanted? I do believe so. I think that was something that was changed from what Napier had, but I'll be honest with you, Napier's decision to make them live on campus was different from anything we'd ever done, even through the HUD years. So I don't know, does that make a difference or not? I really don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. I don't know about it, but I can just tell you, outside of that, this ain't good. So if you want to say that has something to do with it, I could listen to that argument and say these guys need more connected to be off campus. But I don't know. Terry chiming in, they could live off base during camp. Take that for what it's worth. I don't know. Again, I don't have a real comment on whether, or thought on whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. It just kind of, for me, is what it is. I mean, we got bigger problems outside of living on campus. I mean,
I don't think living on campus has nothing to do with not making tackles and missing blocks and committing penalties and dropping passes and missing reads, whether you're on offense or defense. Living on or off campus has nothing to do with that. That's on the practice field.
So I do want to make a comment. Rob Williams, that was a player that went down, right? So I meant to lead off with this, and I think just with all the technical difficulties and us trying to figure through it, was not able to mention it. But Rob Williams, after the team prayer tonight, and if we're being honest, I saw a couple of plays where he looked a little bit out of whack during the game, but I just kind of wrote it off as maybe he's just having he's out of breath. After the team prayer, he collapsed on the field. Medical personnel quickly got to him. They did cut open his jersey and took him out on a stretcher. We do not know what happened or the extent of what happened or anything involving that, but we do obviously thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. Hopefully it is something that we all look back on and say, okay, that was a scare, but it's okay. But it looked pretty scary on the field. So just wanted to mention that and and let all of you know if you have not heard of it. It was not on the stream. It was something that was heard on postgame. So just prayers for him for a speedy recovery, whatever happened. How do you keep Bill and Zylan after this 1-11 season? Look, I'm not saying we're going to win 11. I'm also not saying we're going to win many more games than that. But how do you keep a Caden Jensen? How do you keep the tight end room? I mean, to me, the tight end room and the running back room are the two best units on the entire team. Caden's going to be in the NFL. I mean, that kid's going to play on Sundays. He's got the talent, especially on the blocking side of things, and he can catch the ball. He's going to be playing on Sundays. How do you keep those guys? I don't know the answer to that. I do know the answer to you can't keep progressing down this road and in 4 out of 5 seasons have losing seasons or worse. I mean, and I'll go back to what Coach Lou said. He said something about expectations. Expectations, yeah, from a fan's perspective, you keep getting better. Now, you can have a down year. You can have a couple down years. And we did. We had a couple of years that didn't live up to what we were used to during the Napier era. We gave him some time. We said, look, we get it. Last year, back to what we like to see, had injuries at the end of the season, kind of wrote that off. Again, I just want to keep emphasizing this is year 4. We can't get to year 8. If we're in year 8 and still doing this, brother, it's going to be worse than what Southern Miss saw last year. I'm just saying. It's going to be really bad.
Well, we can't get complacent is what you're saying.
But but you look at what other teams like a Boise State, and I mean, even they're a little bit down, but they're still a solid football team. Like you look at other solid G5 teams or G6 teams and you say, okay, they have a down year or two, but they come back and they sweep it. This ain't good, brother. This ain't good. Well, and complacency, I agree. I agree with Louisiana. I think complacency has set in, And I'm not saying, and going back to Louisiana Cajuns, I'm not saying fire anybody. I'm just saying, I want to put that out there. I'm not saying fire anybody. I am just saying results matter. And we cannot wait another 4 years for this to kind of try to work itself out. Like in the world of NIL and the world of the transfer portal, you gotta, it's all about now. It's what are you doing today? And if you're not living up to those expectations, not only with fans, but with players, they're getting the first train out of here.
And also too, man, I mean, look, again, we talk about NIL, but I keep going back to it today. You didn't need NIL to win that game today because you lost to a team with less resources than you. I mean, you look at Eastern Michigan, they don't have the facilities we have. They don't have I doubt they have the budget we have. They don't have the success we have. They don't have the history we have, especially in the last 15 to 20 years. They don't have the fan base we have. We lost to a team that has much less resources than we have. I mean, so at that point, as far as maintaining success and reaching a goal we want to reach with NIL, I get it, but I mean, losing to Rice and losing to Eastern Michigan has nothing to do with NIL. Now, granted, we obviously need to know how to maintain a certain level of success in spite of what NIL's done. And I think a lot of other mid-majors and G6 teams are like us, right? They deal with the same thing we do. But this year, to me, it's been mostly coaching and lack of preparation. I mean, going into this season, Nick, NIL or no NIL, apparently I was told by the coaching staff and everybody under the sun that this was the most talented team we've had in the last 5 years.
Most speed we've ever had.
Fastest team, most physical, a lot of veteran talent on defense. What happened to all the veteran talent on defense today? Where was it? I didn't see it. Did you see it? Gave up 34 points to a bottom 5 Eastern Michigan team. So yeah, I think some of it is just, I think some of it's coaching. I think some of it is a level of maybe complacency, like Andrew said. But with the expectation we had coming in this year, I was told we were talented. I was told we were loaded with talent and we could be a dark horse for the CFP. Look at our preseason predictions. I had us at 10-2. We're 4 games in. My prediction's way off. Your prediction's way off.
I was
Whole prediction's way off. Yeah, Josh said undefeated. That was out of the window in week 1. So I don't look. Yes, you have to maintain a certain level of cognizance when it comes to NIL. But this is not an NIL issue. I refuse to believe that.
Let's go to this comment, because I want to make some comments, and I'm probably going to get in trouble, but I'm not going to say specifics. Okay, Jerry, before you sink in your chair. Level of jealousy how Tulane handled coaching hires unhealthy. Level of jealousy I have for how Tulane handles everything, I'm jealous about. They've got a great mascot. They're capitalizing on it. They've got fantastic uniforms, which I'm not saying we don't have. But man, I am jealous of their outside of the box thinking on things like uniforms. I mean, hell, I bought their Mardi Gras jersey from baseball jersey because it was fantastic. Their green wave thing, like, that's great. They get it. And they cater to the fans. They built this nice stadium that's about as big as ours now. And they make an experience, and it's wonderful. That's what we used to be. Like, Tulane used to come to our stadium and say, "Hey, how are you guys doing it?" And now they're blowing us out the water. But he's saying, I'm jealous of Tulane. Clint made a comment. Tulane has one of the richest guys in Louisiana rallying other rich guys to invest. We had the opportunity to have one of the richest people in the freaking country supporting this program. And you know what we told them? Nah, we're good.
No, we didn't answer the call. We didn't even tell them no, we're
call.
good. No, we didn't even give them the time to say no.
Nope.
We just didn't answer we didn't call him back.
Didn't call the guy back.
So we didn't say anything to him. We just left him hanging.
Yeah. That's where we are. That's where we are. It's like when I was telling this story about Arizona wanting to give away their indoor track years ago. And I mean, this was like I was a student back then. Indoor track, they were replacing it. They wanted to donate it to us to put in the Cajun Dome so we could have indoor track meets. And it was like, oh, yeah, man, but we'll have to maintain it. I mean, we're going to have to find somebody to go maintain it. We didn't take it. That thinking is still lingering. And when you have one of the richest people in the country wanting to give you money and you don't answer the call, Jerry,
I want to tell everybody, whether you're in the university or in the athletic department, and this is no disrespect, and I'm not telling this to anybody individually, but the mentality, right? The mentality. We joke about the mascot stuff, but it's a problem. It's a problem. We talk about the goals that we may have as a university, increasing enrollment, and trying to really try to identify ourselves as an athletic program and all of these things. Getting the fans on board and going and reaching out to the community. And I'm not talking about the premium seats community. I'm not talking about River Ranch. I'm talking about everyday people, the blue collars, right? We talk about all these things, but at the end of the day, man, I just want to say UL for the longest time, and I love this school. Like, I love my school. I am diehard Vermilion and White. But can we please stop being afraid of our own shadow for once? We're so afraid of our own shadow, and it dictates how we make decisions. Like what we talked about, Nick, with that possible real estate deal about one of the richest people in the country didn't want to answer the phone. Because we're afraid of our own shadow. And that Cajun disaster syndrome that we have and how we're so nervous about everything, we got to quit being scared of our own shadow and start taking some chances and solidify ourselves as someone or as a school that can show the country what we can be.
This is a perfect encapsulation, but we still have the Hot Wheels license plate. We haven't used that logo in freaking 10, 15 years. Like that, it's the attention to detail. It's the caring. It's having someone from here giving input. That's what we're lacking. We're saying, oh, all this great Cajun culture, and we do nothing to capitalize on it. Instead, we put the old logo on license plates and, well, we'd have to go to the legislature and change it.
Go to the legislature and change it.
But that's how I feel with our football program right now. And let's be honest, Jerry, and I get softball, I get the situation they were in, but since the end of football, when there were issues with quarterbacks and injuries, I get that. So from the end of football season into softball season, into baseball season, and now into football season, you have seen standards out the window. Like things that we expect to happen, like competing in conference for a championship in baseball and softball. And I get it. Look, I'm not poo-pooing on softball because I understand the situation. But the standards that we had at one point for basketball and softball and baseball and football and all that, it's like we're just told, well, we'll just try next week. That is not acceptable to me, Jerry. And if we start that in football, I swear to God, because let's face it, football and basketball are going to get, like in this new world, they're going to get most of the funding, most of the money for NIL. Everything is going to be targeted for them. They're the money sports. But if we start forgetting about, if we continue to perform how we're performing and giving them all the money and then continue to perform in the other sports, as a fan, I mean, I'm trying not to check out in football season, brother. And I know it's 4 games into it, but I'm trying not to check out. I'm going to be checked out financially, mentally. And I think a lot of people are feeling like I'm feeling.
I'm close. I'm close. Look, I've missed 4 home games since 1998. All right. I would say I'm pretty much as loyal as they come when it comes to supporting this football program. But I'm getting close. And you know why? I'll tell you why. It's not because we lost just today. It's the fact that, everybody, I've seen comments on here from our fans, some of them saying, this is the Jerry Baldwin era and this is, we're back to the bustle days. No, I don't agree with that, and I'll tell you why.
Maybe they didn't live through those days.
Well,
you don't know how miserable that was.
But here's the thing about that. It's a catch-22 because I'm agree with those statements, but I'm a disagree with it. I'll tell you why I disagree with it first. I hope and pray we never have to have another 5 or 6 year stretch where we go 9-46. From 1997 to 2001 or 2002, we were 9-46. I don't see that happening anytime soon. So I disagree on that end. Where I agree is the fact that compared to the Ricky Bustle and Jerry Baldwin days, when it came to resources, we had nothing. We were lucky to have air conditioning in the athletic building. We were lucky to have electricity.
We had a double wide for our
meeting rooms.
Meeting rooms. Yeah.
We thought it was the Taj Mahal at the time. And now we laugh at it, but it goes to show you how far we've come.
But again, that comes with expectations, Jerry. It comes with expectations. If you start upgrading everything and your teams start to falter, there are expectations that we have to meet.
Exactly. That's where I'm getting at. Now, with all the resources that we have, as opposed to the Jerry Baldwin, Ricky Bustle era, there's no excuses to perform on the field that complements what we had back then, because we now have a multi-million-dollar athletic performance center. We have a $65 million athletic facility. A football stadium. We have a $40 million budget as opposed to the $10 million budget that we had back in the late 90s, early 2000s. We have a coaching staff that is making a ton more money than what they were making in the late 90s and early 2000s. We have a bigger budget in football than what we had in the late 90s and early 2000s. I mean, I really am curious, Nick, if Ricky Bustle had this team and these resources, with what he did for 6-6 records with nothing, I'd put money on the table. I'd say he'd win 10, 11 games with what he's got now. Wouldn't you agree, based on the circumstances of what he had in 2005 and 2006? So my point is, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I tend to agree. No, I get it.
So my point is the reason why there's to me a 5-alarm fire right now is because we have everything that has been asked for the last 30 or 40 years for this football program. And we're sitting here in a post game talking about losing to Eastern Michigan and Rice and starting 1-3. This program's been given everything right now. Everything. And this is what we're putting on the field. It's unacceptable. I'm sorry.
But we're the biggest point of conversation going on there. So anyway, let's take a quick break, Jerry, because I do have to talk about our sponsors. And of course, this is the Gulf Coast Bank post-game show. Despite all of the tech issues we've had some great conversations with you guys chiming in. So please continue to comment, because I do want to get to everyone who is commenting in the chat right now. But real quick, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll give some interesting thoughts on what I have. I'll just leave it at that. Some interesting thoughts coming up after this. We'd like to thank the following partners who make Rage and Review possible. Our title sponsor, the Best Stop Family Market, with locations in Katy and Baytown, Texas, Toledo Bend, Karen Crow, and of course the official location opened in 1986 in Scott. Visit the Best Stop and ask about the Rage and Review tailgate platters. Gulf Coast Bank, title sponsor of the Tailgate Show every Saturday, 3 hours before kickoff. Planet Radio 106.7, Lafayette Roofing, The Yard Goat, Yes Please Branding and Marketing, Old Time Grocery, Stride Safety Solutions, Eat Lafayette brought to you by Lafayette Travel, Rage and Hydration, and Dr. Brett Venable at Recovery Chiromed. And we'd also like to thank our Patreon sponsors listed here. For only $2 a month, you too could have early access to uncut interviews before they air here on our shows. You also get an exclusive Patreon icon next to your name on Cajun Threads, the official message form for Rage and Review. If you are interested in joining as a Patreon, visit us at patreon.com/Rage and Review. Thanks to all of our corporate and Patreon sponsors for making this show possible. Thanks to all of those folks for making this show possible. Free Joe, by the way. Poor Joe. Not going to go into detail on his issues, but we need some Free Joe t-shirts, Clint, if you could hook us up at the next tailgate. By the way, Jerry, and I mean, I'm being halfway serious because I'm going to go in and see my family and all that anyway, but like someone like me who lives 300 miles away from Lafayette that bought season tickets, that's going to go in and spend money in the stadium next week. I mean, I really don't want to go now. If I'm being honest with you, I have no desire to go to the game or the stadium next weekend. I don't. And you can call me a shitty fan. I'm still going to go because I'm a glutton for punishment, apparently. But I just.
We've ridden this ride long enough, Nick. We've been through the worst and the best. We might as well. Why not? I mean, as hard as it is, we'll be there next week. We'll be there next week like we always are. We'll have the tailgate set up. We'll be in the stadium. But I expect, regardless of what happened today, I expect a better product on the field than what we saw earlier.
Let's talk about this, Terry. Is it possible to get back what we used to have with HUD? Other teams are doing it.
We did it last year.
Why not us?
Excuses.
We get a lot of excuses, brother. But there has to be a representative from our division in the CFP. We were in that conversation before the season started. Everybody who knows about football told us about this. But then you go out there and after tying the game, you squib kick and give the ball to the other team at the 40. What am I supposed to think?
We did it last year. We won 10 games last year. We hosted the conference championship last year. So again, and this was during the time we lost a lot of guys to NIL 2 years ago. Again, we had a 2-hour episode on this 2 years ago about the importance of NIL and how it affected our team, and Zion Chris leaving to go to Houston and Kendra Gant leaving to go to Houston and losing players and all this stuff. And yet we still won 10 games. So again, I don't think it's all NIL. I think we can still win. Today, I mean, look, we should be sitting here with a 3-1 record in the NIL era. We should be sitting here with a 3-1 record, celebrating this win or celebrating a win against Eastern Michigan. And we're sitting here 1-3, scratching our heads going, what the hell is going on?
I thought 2-2 would be an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you said it. I think you said it before the season that 2-2 would be concerning. It was either you or somebody on, I don't know if one of the guys said 2-2 would be concerning. Even, I think Cole said it last week in the post game. If we go 2-2, we'd be the worst 2-2 team in the country. Well, guess what? We're 1-3. And we're 1-3. And to make matters worse, I don't know how that deflates your locker room. That's another concern I have. they could talk about 0-0 and we're going in the conference, but that doesn't change the quality of play. You can't fix that overnight, Nick. I just don't see it. I don't see what we've been seeing over the last couple weeks to just change overnight, barring a miracle.
I got nothing, Jerry. Somebody's asking about Dez's buyout. It doesn't matter. He's not going anywhere. We don't have money. We don't have money or the kahunas to do it. So it's not going to happen. We could stop talking about that. Dez is going nowhere. Feel like last year was a fluke? No, I think last year we had talent on both sides of the ball, but we had leadership and presence at the quarterback position. I think both Chandler and Ben were, I'm not going to say underappreciated, but I think it's like Levi. You don't know what you have until you don't have it. Now, here's my problem. Daniel Beal was one of the most highly recruited and respected quarterbacks coming out of high school. Like, I don't think it's a talent problem with him. He gets a playbook. He runs the plays very well. There is definitely a disconnect somewhere. Don't know where that is. Don't even want to speculate.
Look, if you remember Ben Woldridge in 2022, he kind of reminded me of where Daniel was, right? I just think Daniel needs more experience. I do really think that Daniel has upside. It's just hard to see it right now because I still think he has work to do. He's not ready yet. What I've liked was to see more of Lunch, because Lunch does have a little bit more seniority because he is older. I'm at the point now where, look, as much as I love Daniel and I think Daniel's going to continue to improve, instead of putting Lunch in every 3 drives, play him some more. Play him some more. And when I mean by play him some more, don't put him in the same run packages. Again, it's so predictable every time he goes in. Let the kid play. Like, let him play. Let him throw the ball. Let him air it out. None of this little dink and doink read option. Let him run the playbook that Daniel's running. Why not?
So let's talk. Andrew said we don't have the money to buy him out, but what if we don't extend him after one good season like we did last season? He's referring to. I'm not going to disagree with you. I mean, why are one good season? And look, let's be honest, bro. Nobody was knocking on the door down to come get Dez, and this is not a shot at Dez, but Dez just wasn't available. Dez ain't going nowhere. Like, Auburn ain't calling Dez to go coach at Auburn because, again, one good season. So I'm not the one to ask that question to. I think the person in charge who made that decision is the one to ask that to, and I'm sure they'll defend it, which is fine. But I would like to know the logic behind it, because I think Matt Deggs is going in the contract year this year, and
I don't know.
I think he's got two years left, right?
I thought he was extended to 27, 28.
Well, that's another thing. Like, why are we extending coaches? I get extending a couple years, but good God, man. Like, yeah. Anyway.
Well, you have to. Here's the thing. You got to follow the sample size, right? The thing about Bob Marlin was he would always win when his contract year was up. So then it would give admin a reason to extend him, but then you would have 3 or 4 years of mediocrity before he'd win again when, quote unquote, his job was on the line. The thing is, we can't afford to keep doing that with our coaches. There needs to be a level of consistency. And if you take 3 or 4 years at a time, and you've got 4 years where you've got 3 losing seasons and 1 winning season, that's not going to cut it, man.
But that's what we did.
It's not going to cut it. Well, that's not going to work.
But you're talking about large sample size. I mean, when you look at the contract that he got for what he provided, we got finessed by an agent.
Yeah.
We got finessed.
I mean, yeah, you're
and
not
that
wrong.
continues to happen. So whatever. I don't want to get into all that. Does our admin even look at Tulane as peers, or they're just okay with competing with McNeese and Nichols? I have come to the conclusion the only thing they're worried about is the money coming in from the top donors. That's everything I've heard. That's everything I've seen. Is top donors matter? Little guys don't, because I'm a little guy and Yeah, haven't been treated the best there. But regardless, top donors matter. Money matters. That's what matters. Winning is fun, but we got to get that money. And we don't got to get the money from the community. We got to get it from the top people. That's, to me, what I've seen. And that's again, you talk about large sample size, Jerry. It's what I've seen throughout the years. We care about the money coming from certain people, but we don't care about money from the other people. And then when we don't try to attract those other people, like you and I, to say, hey, come to the game, then we're saying, oh, well, why don't they want to come to the game? I don't understand why we raise their RV from $500 a season to $500 a game and they don't want to come. Go to LSU, charges double that. We're not TSAT, bro. Reality.
Dude, there's nothing more annoying.
I'm sorry, I don't want to get into that, but we're getting into it because people are saying
there's nothing more annoying than don't ever compare us to a P4 school. Like, don't do that when it comes to pricing, because the quality of product that they get when you have teams like Oklahoma or someone like that, where Alabama comes to town on your conference schedule or Georgia comes to your place. If Alabama and Georgia is coming to Our Lady of Lourdes Stadium on a regular basis, okay, charge that. But I don't ever want to hear anybody say that, well, you need to pay because some SEC school pays this amount of money. Don't ever compare us to that.
The funniest story I was told this week was when we played Alabama a few years ago. We got our ass kicked with Napier. And again, it was a Nick Saban coached Alabama. Everybody was getting their ass kicked by them.
We played to the final whistle
and we
won the second half.
And we threw more than four yards of passing. But anyway, so we play against Alabama, and one of the administrators goes to someone on the inside and says, "See this? They charge $50 a game for parking. Our fans won't even pay $60 a season. It's Alabama."
One team with like 5 national titles. You've got one team with 5 national titles in the last 10 years leading up to that point. Then you got another team that just hired a new coach trying to find a way to win in the Sun Belt. Let's compare. I mean, come on, man.
We keep getting told we're wrong, they're right. They know more than me. We know nothing.
No, I mean, I got a way to end that argument. We're the customer. We're the ones who dictate what we'll pay for or not pay for. We're the customer.
I agree with
I don't understand.
I'll go back to the coaching part because we're getting way off topic here, but talking about extending contracts, like in the world of NIL, transfer portal, this thing of extending contracts for coaches who have one good season, we cannot continue doing that. And look, if they're in a contract year or they're 1 year out of contract, extend them another year, give them 2 years. But this business of extending 5-6 years, we're seeing. So now we're stuck. Now we're stuck. Let's say he goes 1-11 this year, which I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm just talking in generalities. If you go 1-11 and you just extended a coach 5 years, that looks bad on the coach and that looks bad on you as the decision maker. But going back to this current team, there are guys who want to win so badly. And we saw that today, dude. We saw guys, and Rob Williams is one of them. I mean, poor guy's in the hospital right now because he probably gave more than he had. The guys on this team want to win. I don't know that they're being put in the position to be as successful as the talent that they bring to the team. Again, Daniel Beal was one of the most highly recruited folks out of high school. We could go down the list of people on this team that were so highly recruited and been told, this is going to be one of the best teams that we have ever. And the results aren't following what we've been told. And again, for me, I don't know, as a season ticket holder, as a supporter, as a fan, as a lifelong fan, when I'm starting to check out, that's not a good sign, brother. And I'm getting to the point where, again, like I got to make that 300-mile trek down to Lafayette, and I'll be there because I'm a glutton. But it's exhausting. It's hard enough to do it, and now I gotta travel 300 miles, and by the way, pay more money to eat and drink, and it's just I'd probably be a lot more happier if I turned the TV off, never watched Cajuns. anything. And but I'm a glutton. This is what we do, right?
We all are. I mean, and look, we're always going to be this way. But the thing is, we're still sticking around. And say what you want about us, call us negative, say, oh, you're being critical, but we're not going anywhere. And actually, you want people like us because we are a glutton for punishment sometimes, especially after what we saw today. And we'll be there next week. But I do think that, again, as a paying customer who is investing a lot of time, going tailgate, spending 3 hours in your stadium.
And money,
buying concessions, I would hope that we would have a better product than what I saw today in Ypsilanti. That's all I'm asking.
Jerry, I am tired of talking about this team. I am tired of talking about football. I'm tired of talking about this program. I am tired. I want to go drink myself to sleep. I am starting a brisket in a couple hours. Going to smoke that all night. Tomorrow, I'm going to have some folks from work over, and Lane is passing back through. He's doing some traveling through Texas, so Lane's going to be around. So I'll be sure to share some pictures of my brisket and Lane eating it. Yeah, and that's about it. So I'm ready to not think about this.
Make sure that brisket is extra tender and extra good because you may need it because the Saints play tomorrow at 3 against Seattle. So
you want to talk about checked out, brother? You want to talk about checked out? That level of checked out is something to behold. You can't be disappointed when you don't have any expectations. So I let it go, bro.
I know you're a Saint. I know you're a big Saints fan like me. But do you watch? Are y'all watching the Texans too? Like, are you follow the Texans being in Houston that much?
Well, yeah. My neighbor. So we have a patio. So my backyard neighbor and I share a fence, and we actually put a gate between our two backyards because we both have pools. We all do stuff together all the time. So instead of walking all the way around, because we're both corner lots, we just go between the patio and my house. So yes, nice. Patio will be open tomorrow. We have 3 screens out there, 2 big screens, 1 small screen. We usually have the Saints, the Texans, and then usually Kansas City because we have a Kansas City fan. He's from there. But if not, then the Vikings because we have another neighbor from Minnesota. So we got the big setup. But again, I'm going to have, regardless of all this, I'm going to have my brisket, my rice dressing with my mama's her recipe, some sausage, some Best Stop stuff is going to be included in that. Shout out to Best Stop. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
I also want to give a shout out to the Anchovines, Kevin, his wife Nicole. We were at a Cajuns tailgate party today. Kayla and I brought our daughter Allie, and all the kids were there. They were actually watching us on their big screen on the patio. And they also went to Missouri last week. Kevin's from around St. Louis, so there's some diehard fans, and he had some pulled pork today, and we had some Best Stop crackling on the counter. Shout out, of course, Rage and Review, official
crackling of Rage and Review. But by the way,
from Best Stop,
I'm a little biased. I love chicken cracklings, man, bruh. That's some good stuff. Look, James, look, dude. If I'm driving in, let's talk, James. Let's put this up, James, bro. If I am driving in from Houston to go watch this shit next week, I'm not saying go to the game. Come see me at the tailgate. I encourage all y'all. Y'all come to the cave. If I'm coming in, damn it, just come to the tailgate, man. Because if I'm not going to be happy to be there, I'm going to be in the piss poor mood. But I would like to see my boys. So please, James, don't let me down, bro. Come to the tailgate. We'll drink. We'll do shot. I'll do a shot. I never do shots, but we'll do a shot. I did one for Big Lynn the other night. I'll do a shot with you.
Yeah,
it was worth it. But man,
I mean, we'll be there. Like, come hang out with us. For no other reason, just come hang out with us.
You can leave after that. Okay, he didn't say he wasn't going to the tailgate. Okay, we good. Good. Right. James, right, I want to see you there, brother. Enjoyed hanging out with you last time. Didn't get a whole lot of time to do that, but I'll be there this weekend. So look forward to it. And all the listeners, go out there, introduce yourself. I don't know. One of the guys I met, he was like, man, that's not what I expected you to look like. And I'm like, okay. I don't know if, whatever. I mean, I'm
supposed to mean.
Well, yeah, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, Jerry, appreciate you sticking around. Josh probably crashed out because he was pissed off about the technology part. We got to get that figured out, man. Every time I turn on the Twitter Spaces is something different. Like it'll work one day, it won't work the next. I'll try it out. Like I literally tested it out before coming on here and nothing worked. So we'll get something figured out.
Look, if the football team loses to EMU, it's like us. Like we're just losing to technology. It's just an epiphany, just a snowball effect. You know, it just you can't help but just shake your head. You know,
this is stupid. But we'll do better. We'll try to get it right for next week. But we'll be back midweek to talk more about this awful, disgusting shit that we just watched today. So look forward to that.
Where do we go from here, right?
Yeah, well, nowhere but up, but maybe not. I don't know. All right. Once again, thanks to Gulf Coast Bank for making this show possible. It's Gulf Coast Bank post-game show. But hey, conference season's coming, so we still have everything in front of us.
0-0, Nick. 0-0.
That's what I have to say to that. Hope my boss is not watching. For Jerry, for Cole, who wasn't able to join us tonight, he chimed in. For for who else? For Josh, who joined us for a little bit, then got pissed off and left. For Lane, who's traveling, will be here enjoying my delicious brisket tomorrow. You all watch out for that. I'm gonna have plenty of pictures. I'm Nicholas. We'll marinate on this, see what we come up with for our midweek show, and then join us for our pre-game party and at the tailgate. If anything, that will be fun. I think the guys from Marshall will also be there. The Marshall Herd podcast. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're going to be there as well. So come meet us, come meet those guys. We'll be talking with them later this week. But until then, you guys take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Who dat, go Saints, go whatever team you support.
Please win.
Yeah.
Please, just win.
Acadiana, Louisiana. I'm 0-2 so far, buddy. Let's not make it 0-3. We're out of here. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we will talk to you later. And until next time, as always, go Cajuns.
Cyber stops, your roots are planted deep inside of me.